thank you very much for that introduction as well. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to be speaking to you tonight about law and order policy. The three old parties have failed on law and order. They don't get it on crime. We, UKIP, are now the only party that has a tougher policy on law and order. There is no justifiable reason for crime. We have to get back to a society where our view on crime is about what is right and wrong. Of course, social conditions are a cause of crime, but we should be very careful not to allow difficult social conditions to become an excuse for crime. Social conditions, a person's background, a person's upbringing, family life, are all factors in determining their life chances and their life routes. But they are not an excuse for committing crime, and we must make that clear. We have to battle the day-to-day issues of fighting crime and punishing criminals, but we must also try and defeat the longer-term social conditions that lead some people into the path of crime too. We have to help businesses, create jobs, cutting taxes and regulations, thus helping to cut unemployment. We have to give our young people a sense of hope, give them youth services, give them a chance to get into work by controlling immigration, because we have 1 million young people in this country who are unemployed. We live in a time of a twisted criminal justice system where everyone has rights and no one has any responsibilities. The fact is, we are too soft on crime. Prisons are comfortable for criminals. They have Sky television, PlayStations, and many luxuries that a lot of people can't afford. Isn't this the whole problem? Most criminals are far better off in prison than they ever could be outside of it. If we carry on giving criminals a nice time in prison, then they will keep coming out and committing crimes and try and get back there. We need to have a tougher prisons regime so that we deter criminals from wanting to go back ever again. We should take out the luxuries, the Xboxes, the Sky TV, and give them a much more basic existence. After all, these people are criminals. They have done wrong to society. They should be punished for that and not rewarded. The Human Rights Act, which was originally designed to stop the true horrors of the Holocaust ever happening again, this Human Rights Act now is being used to cover issues that was never designed for. The Human Rights Act has become a criminal's charter. Illegal immigrants use it to avoid deportation. Terrorists use it to avoid extradition, and in the case of Abu Qatada, he used the act for nearly 10 years to stop him being deported. This was a disgrace, and it's only because he agreed to go voluntarily, and we couldn't actually force him to go, that he eventually left. Doesn't this show how impotent our justice system has become because of the European Court of Human Rights? Criminals use this Human Rights Act to claim a family life, which shows what a farce the whole situation has become. Now we have the ridiculous and shameful situation where the EU wants to give criminals the vote. The European Court judges are living in cloud cuckoo land if they think anyone supports this crazy idea. Let me make this extremely clear. It is totally unacceptable to give prisoners the vote. The people who break the law should have no say on who makes the laws. We should withdraw from the Court of Human Rights and repeal the Human Rights Act, which for far too long has prevented us from dealing effectively with criminals and terrorist suspects. We should build as many prisons as we need to house prisoners. Prisons protect the public from the criminals while they're inside. Some criminals are so violent and so dangerous they should remain in prison for life. And we reject totally the idea of privatisation of the prison service. We must build enough prisons as required. We don't need all maximum security prisons for all prisoners. There are some discussed army camps that could be converted for less dangerous criminals. We have to restore control of our borders in order to prevent the entry of foreign criminals and restore the ability to deport foreign criminals. Foreign criminals should be immediately deported on the completion of their sentence. These things can only be accomplished by leaving the European Union. Our criminal justice system today has become a cardboard cutout criminal justice system. If any pressure is applied to it, it just falls to bits. One case in particular, the Andrew Young case. Lewis Gill killed Andrew Young with a single punch, and he was only given a 4-year sentence. 4 years for ending someone's life. Where is the justice in that? Gill could be free within 2 years, thanks to early release. We should oppose early release of criminals in all circumstances. Doesn't this case show how out of touch with reality our justice system has become to what the electorate and the British people want? The mother of the thug said her son was a good kid, it was just an accident, it's not a big deal, and this will all be forgotten tomorrow.
Charlie.
This disgraceful behaviour, an appalling an attempt to dismiss a serious crime, thank goodness this case is to be reviewed. The message needs to go out that this kind of behaviour should not be tolerated. Is it any wonder that people's faith in our criminal justice system is completely and utterly shattered? So what is UKIP's approach to law and order? We want zero tolerance of antisocial behaviour and nuisance. We want more police on the beat, including warranted special constables rather than PCSOs who can't make arrests. We want to build prisons and make sure that the offenders serve their full sentences. We want more rehabilitation to turn offenders away from crime. We want more severe penalties for serial offenders. We need to overhaul the whole system to make sentences meaningful, rehabilitate offenders, deport foreign criminals, and free up the police from excessive form filling that ties them down and prevents them from doing their job. We need to make prison sentences mean what they say. If you get 5 years, you should serve 5 years. Life should mean life. Criminals and the victims must have the confidence in the system to know that when someone gets a sentence, it is served in full, no ifs, no buts, no maybes. We should scrap the European arrest warrant, which sends British citizens to foreign jails without any evidence, just to answer questions, and we should replace it with a proper extradition system. It is the responsibility of government to protect the public and minimise their risk of being victims of crime. There must be no cuts to the frontline police budget or their numbers. The entire police budget for England and Wales is about half that of the foreign aid budget. There is no lack of funds for police. There's just simply the wrong priorities of the government. The police budget is a priority, the foreign aid budget is not a priority. UKIP, we're not centre left, we're not centre right, we're a party of common sense. And there is an alternative to the three parties. We are that alternative, and the people are beginning to see that. UKIP is now the only party in British politics that believes in a tougher approach on law and order. If you agree with us, come and support us. And on May 22nd, vote UKIP, get UKIP. Thank you.